Children, in fifth lesson inside the atom, today we'll see the next part of our lesson, and the part is the Rutherford's atomic theory. That day we seen the Dalton's atomic theory, and inside it he said that the atom is nothing but the smallest indivisible part of a element. Okay, after that we had seen the Thomson's atomic model, and inside it he compared the atom with the plum pudding, or we are saying watermelon. And after that, today we will see the next, that is the Rutherford's atomic theory. So here is the information, that is Rutherford's nuclear model and atom model of atom 1911. So first of all, Rutherford studied inside the atom by his celebrated scattering experiment and put forth the nuclear model of atom in the year 1981. So he performed an experiment, okay, on a gold foil, and after the studying it, what happens, he put forth the theory of the atom inside the atom. Rutherford took a very thin gold foil of thickness 10 raised to minus 4 mm. Okay, we will see the video of this experiment also. First of all, we will see the its explanation. So Rutherford took a very thin gold foil and its thickness is 10 raised to minus 4 mm. Okay, means on our scale small one, line is there. Okay, 1 to 10 inside. Suppose this is 0 and here it is 1. I am drawing it bigger one, and 1 2 3 1 2 4 and 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So in this part only 0, from 0 till here, if we divide into divide this much part into 10,000, means 10 raised to 4 means what, 1 upon minus 4 means 1 upon on 1, how many zeros, 4 zeros. So which number is this 10,000 part? So if we divide this part, okay, from 0 to first line, then up to how many times, 10,000 times, then one part remaining, that much is the thickness of this gold foil. Okay, and after taking that gold foil, what he had done, he bombarded it with the positively charged alpha particles. Okay, as you know that alpha particles are positive charge, and he bombarded means he throw the alpha particles, rays of alpha particles on it, emitted by radioactive substances. You know that radioactive substances, uranium and strontium, these are the radioactive substances. He observed the path of alpha particle by means of fluorescent screen. What he had done, he observed, now he threw the alpha particles and he observed the path of alpha particles. He took this foil, okay, this is the foil, okay, and on it he threw the alpha particles, okay, and then afterwards here is the fluorescent screen he had put here for observing the path of the alpha particles. Now reflected from the gold foil, if the positively charge mass were eventually distributed inside the atom, and unacceptedly most of the alpha particles were straight through the foil. So what happens actually, when this foil is there, here he put the fluorescent screen and alpha particles thrown it. So many are there, they pass out from the atom. Okay, and some are, what happens, their way is changing. So this is the way of alpha rays of radioactive substance, that is alpha particles. Now unacceptedly means he would not accepted that most of the alpha particles were straight through the foil. They went straight through the foil. In a small number of alpha particles get deflected from the original path. So some only, this is the way, and they are deflected means they are changing their way. Just now I shown that. Then afterwards what happens, small angle till the smaller number of alpha particles get deflected through the larger angle, and surprisingly alpha particles out of 20,000, okay, out of 20,000 bounce back in the direction of opposite to the original path. Okay, so they get how much alpha particles out of 20,000 bounce back how much he throw that alpha particles from that 20,000 throw back in the which direction opposite to the path. If you see here, you will notice that this is the alpha particles. He throw this rays of alpha particles from here. This is the gold foil just I showed you, and this is the fluorescent screen. Fluorescent screen, as you know, that when the light falls on it, what happens? It shines, and that's why it is called as a fluorescent. Okay, sometimes this type of colors are available now whenever we are passing on the road. That marks are there at night time, otherwise boards they are making to show the ways. At that time, what happens? Fluorescent screens they are using, and by using that screen, what happens? It, when light falls on it, shines. Okay, and we get the proper way in at night also. So that is the use of fluorescent color. Same way he used the fluorescent screen to observe the path of this alpha particles. Now if you see here, so many alpha particles are passes and it goes forward here. Okay, but some are, what happens? They reflect back. Okay, so this is his experiment. Okay, now we will see the video and then we will continue the next part. Then you will understand it in better way. Now we will see the Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. This is alpha emitted particles, means this is gold foil. Direction of the screen means here it is, they shown. Okay, and we have to take the what? Two screens here. Now see what is happening. The alpha rays are first of all emerging out from the substance which emits the alpha rays. Okay, then it, what happens? Cross section of the alpha particle emitter. From here it is coming. So they cut it here and shown to you how it is passing. Then it passes from this small beam, it coming forward. It falls on the gold foil now. Okay, when it falls on the gold foil, what happens? So most of the rays are passing forward. If you see here, when some are reflected back. Which rays reflected back? Here it is, they are reflecting back. Okay, now see here, so many rays are out of the whatever alpha rays are there, so many are passing forward, and what happens? Some are get reflected. So why this happens? If you see here, this is the structure of the atom. This is the structure of atom. He shown that this is the, suppose this is a nucleus, and these are the yellow colored it is there. These are the what? These are the electrons, and as you know that electrons are revolving, means he said that electrons are revolving around the nucleus. If you see here, the rays when passing from the other area, it get easily forward. Okay, but sometimes what happens when they falls on this, the heavy part of the heavy part of the atom, that is the nucleus, they get reflected back. See now here what is happening. See, most of the rays are passing forward. See, and which are falling on the nucleus, those are getting reflected, or they are changing their way of the. Okay, so experiment I am show you.
Atom was one of the most widely accepted models all over the world for understanding the structure of the atom. However, several experiments performed by scientists to study the atomic structure showed astonishingly different results. They were contradicting the plum pudding model. This led many scientists all over the globe to reconsider the structure of an atom and study it again. Around the year 1911, a British physicist, Ernst Rutherford, carried out the famous gold foil experiment. He did this to understand the structure of an atom. The experiment was carried out by Rutherford along with Hans Geiger and Ernest Marsden. The experiment he performed was a breakthrough in the field of chemistry, which helped him understand the structure of an atom in a more accurate manner. This is how the setup of his experiment looked like. As we can see here, he used a source of alpha particles locked in a lead container with a very small slit. This ensured that the alpha particles only came out through a small opening and traveled in a straight line. But why did he select alpha particles in the first place? Well, the alpha particles were having high energy and were heavier as well. So if we say the atom is like a pudding of positively charged particles with electrons embedded in it, then the particles will pass straight through it. This is obvious because the heavier particles will pierce through the lighter pudding structure of the atom and pass through it. This is what Rutherford thought. For this reason, their greater mass and energy compared to the protons made him choose alpha particles for the experiment. Next, he used a very thin gold foil on which the alpha particles would bombard. Why did he choose a gold foil? Well, a really thin gold foil was estimated to contain approximately 1000 atoms. Lesser the atoms, more convenient the experiment would be. Lastly, are we able to locate this circular band with a gap here? What could this be? Well, this is the screen. A fluorescent screen that would help us detect the radiation. That means the screen will glow or emit fluorescent light whenever alpha particles will hit it. So this is how the track of alpha particles can be traced. Now we're all set to understand how the experiment worked. The alpha particles were emitted from the element present in this box. These directly hit the gold foil. Now what should happen ideally? As we know, the Thomson's model suggested that an atom is a sphere of positive charge with negative electrons embedded inside it. That means it is expected that the alpha particles will pass right through the atoms and hit the detector straight. And why so? Because the mass of alpha particles is heavier than the mass of positive charges. That means they should directly hit the atom and move ahead through it. Only a very small deviation would probably be acceptable in this case. But is this what he observed? Not really. He was astonished to get unexpected results. What results did he get? He found that most of the fast-moving alpha particles passed straight through the foil and hit the detector. However, some particles got deflected by small angles. And lastly, to his astonishment, few alpha particles also rebounded. Now, how can this be possible? These three observations made Rutherford think that the plum pudding model is not really correct. Based on the conclusions he had, he put forward the new hypothesis explaining the structure of atoms. What were his conclusions? Let us have a look at the conclusions by Rutherford, followed by the new atomic model put forth by him in the next video.
Now you saw the experiment done by Rutherford, and from this experiment what he had understand that so many particles are there, they're passing in a straight way. Just now you seen it, okay? So many are there passing in the same way. Some are there, they deflected little bit in their angle, okay, and some are there, they get back. And so from this he conclude that the atomic structure which is put forth by the Thomson, it was worldwide accepted, was nothing. It was not so correct. So he had put forth his own theory after studying this experiment. Okay, so here the large number of alpha particles that went straight through the foil indicates that there was no obstacle in their path. Obstacle, any kind of what we are saying, any kind of material or block on the way. Okay, so many are there, just you seen it here, so many are there, they are passing forward. What happens? And then afterwards what he said, observed that it meant that they must mainly empty space inside the atom. So he said that there is some empty space. What happens? From it what happens? The alpha particles goes forward in the solid gold foil. A small number of alpha particles get deflected through a smaller or bigger angle must have faced the obstacle in their path. Okay, so the particles which are passing in a straight way, okay, the particles which are passing rays which are passing from a straight way, what happens? They are not getting any kind of obstacle, but some are there, they got the obstacle on their way, and that's why what happens? They are changing their angle. Okay, they move from the, if you see that light rays falls on any object, then what happens? It is reflected from it, and same thing is happening with these alpha particles. And just now we seen in the video, alpha particles are heavier. Okay, and as the theory put forth by this Thomson, the negative charge, if it is evenly spread in the atom, then the conclusion should be what all the alpha rays pass in a straight line and falls on the fluorescent screen. That conclusion is actually we want, but actually what happens, some rays are goes forward and some are what happens, they get deflected from their original path. Okay, now what happens here, some are deflected a little bit angle, and afterwards alpha particles get deflected through a small or big angle must have faced the obstacle in their path. It means that the positive charged and heavy part causing obstruction would be in the center. What he said conclude that it means that the positively charged and the heavy part, the positive and the heavy part causing obstruction would be in the center of atom, and due to this what happens, some are get reflected back, and from this Rutherford put forth the nuclear model of the atom as follows. So he said that this is the positively charged nucleus, and when these alpha particles falls on this nucleus, it is heavier, and what happens, this get reflected back. Okay, and where there is a other places the electrons and empty space is there, and from this path what happens, when the rays are passing, they move straight forward, and when it falls on the nucleus, what happens, they deflected there, or they are changing its direction. Okay, so that is our about our Rutherford's atomic theory. Okay, now so what he said, that his conclusion is that there is a positive charged nucleus at the center of the atom. So he said that there is a positively charged nucleus is there, it is at the center. So I drawn it here, positively charged what nucleus in the center. So this is our nucleus. Now almost all the entire atom is concentrated, almost entire mass of the atom, means almost all the entire mass, whatever is the mass, it is concentrated in the nucleus. Okay, so it is heavy. Then the negatively charged particles called as the electrons revolve around the nucleus. So this is the nucleus, and negatively charged particles are there, they are revolving around the what nucleus. It is his conclusion. Now the total negative charge on all the electron is equal to positive charge of nucleus. So how much is the positive charge, that much is the negative charge is present in the nucleus. He said that at first. Okay, the total negative charge on the electron is equal to the total negative charge on electron is equal to the positive charge of nucleus. As the opposite charges are balanced, the atom is electrically neutral. Okay, so this is, suppose here 8 electrons are there, then the positive charge are, he don't know, he first only said the positive charge is also 8 and negative charge is also 8. As you seen here, electrons I shown it here 8, and 8 positive charge are there, and that's why this electron is there, it is electrically neutral. He said that. Okay, now fifth, he said that there is an empty space between the revolving electrons and atomic nucleus. So he said that this is suppose a nucleus, and here is the rays, here is the electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus, then there is an empty space is there in between the nucleus and the electrons, otherwise in between two electrons also. Okay, so he conclude till these are his conclusions. Now we will see the video which shows how it is conclude. So the next video of Rutherford's model we will see for better understanding of this concept, because it is the milestone of the chemistry in the theory or study of atom, and from that what happens, we got the more and more information and about the nucleus and its different. Now you, after looking towards these videos, it is not necessary to learn these things in proper way. You just keep the things in your mind. It is easy if you observe these videos. So I'm showing to you these videos for better
gold foil
understanding.
Experiment gave him interesting results. What results did he get, by the way? Let me recall them for you. He found that most of the fast-moving alpha particles passed straight through the foil and hit the detector. However, some particles got deflected by small angles. And lastly, to his astonishment, few alpha particles also rebounded. Now, how can this be possible?
Means came back.
These three observations made Rutherford think that the plum pudding model is not really correct. Let us take a simplified example to understand the inferences first. Let us imagine that we have a ball made up of cotton. The cotton in the ball is very sparsely distributed and has an extremely tiny circle or sphere located at the center. This sphere is quite hard and dense. So hard that it can even resist a bullet shot against it. Now what will happen if you shoot many bullets across this cotton ball? Most of them will travel straight through the cotton surface. What will happen if a bullet hits the edge of the central heavy mass? In this case, the bullet will slightly change their path and get deviated. So looking at the size of the central mass, it's obvious that only some of the bullets will get deviated. Lastly, what happens when a bullet hits the center directly? Needless to say, it will bounce back, because we know that the central dense mass is too hard for the bullet to pass through. So very few bullets will bounce back. This is analogous to what Rutherford had inferred about the atomic structure. His first conclusion was that most of the space inside an atom is empty. This is because most of the alpha particles could easily pass through the atoms and hit the detector straight. Now, if most of the space is empty inside an atom, then where is the positive charge located? Well, that's the second conclusion. The positive charge is compactly packed in a tiny entity. This occupies an extremely small space inside the atom. Now, why did he think so? Let's go back to our cotton ball and bullet example. Can you recall the second and the third case? Yes, the bullets get deviated on hitting the tiny sphere of the edge, and they will rebound when they hit the center. Same explanation holds true for this. A few alpha particles get deviated. That means there is a possibility that these hit the edge of the positive center. Yes, and one more possibility is that they get deviated because the positive center repels the alpha particles as they're also positively charged. Also, a very small number of alpha particles rebounded. That means there is a possibility that these alpha particles had directly hit the positive center. But since the number of these rebounding particles is too small, it explains that the volume occupied by the positive center is also very small. If the space occupied would have been big enough, then the number of alpha particles bouncing back would also be greater. So let's say there are gold particles in the foil. He found that most of the rays pass straight through the atoms. A few rays change their path and get deflected. Lastly, very few particles bounce back. These results compelled Rutherford to come up with a new nuclear model. Let's have a look at the hypothesis put forward by him. Firstly, there's a positively charged center in an atom called nucleus. Nearly all the mass of an atom resides in the nucleus. Secondly, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular paths. Thirdly, the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of an atom. However, theoretically, there were many flaws in the hypothesis. Let's have a look at the drawbacks in Rutherford's hypothesis in the next video. Also, we will have a look at the explanation of atomic structure by another scientist named Niels Bohr in the next video.
Now we saw the Rutherford's atomic model in detail. Okay, what is the experiment he had done, and afterwards his conclusion also we had seen. Now after looking towards these three models we had seen, first is the Dalton's atomic model, second is the Thomson's atomic model. Okay, this is the Dalton's, this is the Thomson, and this is the Rutherford's atomic model. According to, by using these three, what happens, we have to answer the questions for use your brain power. And today is your work is that you have to solve these examples for and study this first of all models, and then solve these questions, and then we will see the drawbacks related to the Rutherford's atomic models, and next the model, that is the Bohr's stable and orbit atomic model, we will see in our next lecture. Okay, so today we will stop here only. So okay, thank you.